What's good, YouTubeites? I apologize for the late start. If anybody lives in California as Cox Cable, you know the horrible servers that they have, man. My internet has been up and down all day long. I've been doing all kinds of stuff with IP4, IP5, IP version 6, and it's killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Anyway, Mikey Sutton, what's going on?
Hey everybody, T-Vo, how's it going?
It's been shitty.
Looks like Cox reminds me of Comcrap, so
It seems like all of them are bad, right?
yeah,
Nobody
they're all
ever has
bad.
a good internet connection. So, I'm trying to hurry as soon as possible. Typically we don't play music, but you know what? It's tradition. We got to play at least a small clip, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about Funk right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out.
All right, I'm back. Back. This is Plan B. This is me tethered to a 5G phone. So, um,
We just
sorry
pretend it's
about what's.
2010 right now.
That's right. Hey,
2010, beginnings of
sorry.
YouTube.
I had to dial up again on AOL. So age, sex, location. So
Remember that was
sorry
it
about
called
that.
Jenny Cam? Was it Jenny Cam? That was that lady who put her whole life on the web.
Yeah.
Not that I would know, but
Always gotta have Plan B. So I'm on my work laptop that has a built-in shitty webcam. I'm using this and my microphone, and I'm tethered to a 5G hotspot. So we shall see, man. So we shall see. So once again, thank you for welcome to Lords of the Long Box, special long term spec list. I don't know how much we can tell about this list, Monkey, but what can you say this list is from and how you came about it?
well, it's probably the most serious list that we ever presented on here. Because we get lists that for books that people research on, people on staff, researching characters for upcoming movies and TV shows. But we got a list here from people who work in the industry that actually buy comic books to spec on themselves. This is a real cabal. This is the one you've been talking about for years before you even met me. These people, they do
So this
buy,
is people who actually work within
yeah,
Disney or Marvel or DC or what have you, and they have a private group and they share this information amongst each other
yeah.
and get the books because they know it's coming. And how did you come up? Can you disclose that top secret information? How did you come
Well,
across that?
just yeah, it came from people that I got information from. and I was asked, "Hey, do you want to see the list of books some of these people are actually buying based on their own intel?" And they're stocking up on some of these books. And if you see, but I want to add something to T-Vo that I forgot to put on your list.
Oh boy.
Whenever you see the words hot IP, it means a book that is being considered for multiple projects that has some longevity to it. That's what they mean by hot. Not that people are buying it in droves, but hot as in it'll be used quite frequently or on a big project. So those are very serious specs.
Yeah. So we got this list, and you gave it to me verbatim what they sent you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
And it's interesting. I mean, a lot of this will be like, I've heard this over and over again, but when you see, it's almost like it gives, I don't know, credence or precedence, but it's almost like doubling down on it because they think, or
yeah,
they've heard big things about it, how it's going to be happening on multiple levels. But
yeah.
before we get started, though, this show is sponsored by our friends at KRSComics.com. Go to KRSComics.com, use discount code of LOTLB, and get 15% off any KRS Comics exclusive. They have a very cool, very rare Labor Day sale coming tomorrow, and they're going to be selling this bad boy.
Awesome.
This is Ultimate Fallout Spider-Man No More by Clayton Crane. Here is the regular. This is the Virgin. Obviously, it's an homage to Ultimate Fallout number 4. Goes on sale, pre-sale on KRS Comics tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Use discount code LOTLB to get 15% off this or anything at KRSComics.com. Make sure, don't miss this. Miles is hot right now, but I will tell you he's not on our list. Also, thank you everybody for entering in the 7,000 subscriber giveaway. Somebody asked if a signed Dreamwalker comic can be one of the giveaways, and I asked Mikey, and what do you say to that?
I would love to. Be an honor to be able to do that.
It
I
would
mean,
be awesome.
that's
You know what?
great.
We'll try to get a double signed for you by Natalie Sanders and Mikey Sutton. The regular cover, obviously, by Mikey Sutton.
Yeah.
So if you do win, and if you want that, you'll have to wait to December. It's just how it's gonna take.
Oh,
Shout out to
I forgot to tell you, T-Vo. This list is just the top books. They left out the other books. So I asked, look, give me the entire list. So
Oh,
there's more obscure stuff that'll be on the one next weekend.
there you go. Okay, that's what you call the lead-in tease for next Sunday to watch out.
Yeah,
So like I was saying, this list, a lot of people are like, well, obviously we knew that was coming, but
yeah,
the notes on it are very specific, like get this now, or get this, but
yeah,
don't, get lower quantities of it, and a couple say hot IPs on them. So let's get right to it, man.
yeah,
The first one on the list coming. I mean, this should be no surprise to anybody.
yeah.
Daredevil issue number 9, the first appearance of Echo, raw comic lasso for 150. Did they give you any more details on this when they said Echo one, or they just give you this list?
Yeah, they said buy multiple copies of this, and the reason why is Echo is going to be pretty big for Marvel Studios. They're going to give this character a lot of promotion. There's a big push behind her. Um, I know there'll be comparisons to Jessica Jones. The difference is this is Marvel Studios, it's Disney Plus, and they're really going to push this character pretty far. They have a lot of expectations for her. Um, I would get it now before this gets any higher. And don't wait for the trailer. you know?
That's what we've all people wait for the trailer and then it just explodes. So I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
just know. I mean, plus this
Keep
is
him.
I think this
Yeah.
is what is his name? Kabuki art. Oh God, mine is slipping me right now. So
Oh, what's his name? Yeah, I know the artist. Yeah.
yeah, help me out in the live chat.
Yeah.
What's his name? It sounds like Kabuki. but
Isn't Billy Tucci?
No. Billy Tucci was actually who did the writer. Was the
Oh,
writer
okay.
of it,
Okay.
but it's also David Mack. There you go. Thank you,
David
Jack
Mack.
Black.
Okay, that's
David
it. That's
Mack.
it.
Why was I thinking Kabuki? Oh, Kabuki was the comic he worked on. Duh. Sorry, yeah, that's where I'm at this weekend. It's a 3-day
So
weekend.
it's really important, T-Vo. The significance of Echo is also because this is where the Daredevil reboot is gonna really open up. It's on her show. So you really need this book.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense because they actually have a hearing impaired actress playing the role. So
Hmm.
so it kind of representation and then checks off all the boxes. Latina, Native American, hearing
Yeah.
impaired. I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. I don't think they're deaf. I don't think I want to call them deaf, but definitely they have somebody to play the same role. So if they're saying this is on the list, they're expecting big things from her
Yeah.
to appear in multiple shows. Because we do know, I don't know if it's been said publicly yet, but I know we said on this show that there's going to be an Echo Disney Plus series, right?
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
that been
And
has that been announced officially yet by Marvel?
I believe it was. Yeah. In fact, they're gonna have something about it on the Disney Plus event coming up. They're
Disney
gonna do a
Day.
little. Yeah, they're gonna do something on Echo on there. They also have theatrical plans for her, like to appear in a theatrical film. Not to have her own movie franchise. Like she'll show up as a
Yeah,
guest
yeah.
star in someone's movie.
Exactly. Kind of
So
like how Doctor Strange is scattered around everywhere, and
yeah.
but I can't wait for Disney Day. That's going to be huge in November. Only two
Oh
weeks
yeah,
after.
yeah.
I mean, November is going to be huge for DC fandom, and then Marvel, or excuse me, Disney Day. All right, so Daredevil to number 9. No surprise to anybody, but what they're saying is double down on this. They're expecting big things. She's going to be appearing in multiple platforms. Next one up is very interesting. Is the actual notation on it. New Avengers number 11. This is actually like 6 years after when she appeared as Echo. So this one appeared in 19. The other one appeared in 1991. This one in 2005. This one is Echo appears as Ronin, and they actually said buy in low quantities. What does that mean?
Well, it means that she will appear as Echo. I mean, she will appear as Ronin, but just it'll be a brief thing.
Briefly,
It's
gotcha.
not,
Yeah,
yeah, not a long term thing. So you know how collectors are. Once they stop using that version of the character, the spec falls off, right? Uh,
just like when Hawkeye was Ronin, right? When
yeah, yeah,
that Hawkeye Ronin book. So this is one of
yeah,
those things where you got to think they're probably saying buy this as a flip because he's going to show up as Ronin eventually in somewhere
yep,
somehow. Marvel always flips the script. She could
yeah,
show up as Ronin first and then appears Echo, or vice versa, or just as in disguise or something. But still a cool issue, kind of a almost ninja like, you might want to say. Well, a Ronin is a masterless ninja, so there you go.
yeah. And now the person who sent me this list, he's one of the Cabal that buys these books and everything. He told me that Echo, the first appearance, will be the next Kate Bishop in terms of popularity. And
I
you know
got
how big that got.
Yeah, that's cool. I got people doing like 2 for 2s and 1 for. You guys don't have to do this. This is in the cover price top 10. But if you want to, go for it.
It's
This one
fun.
I'd rather you have an eBay page open at the same time I'm giving you this list so you can buy, or just go through your cover price and see if you have them. Those two, easy spec, right? We kind of
Yeah.
everybody knows this one. This one is a little bit interesting actually. Next one up is Avengers number 69. It says the regular edition because there's also, I think, some other like Canadian version, or it's or something like that.
Oh wow, there is.
Yeah. So this is because of Nighthawk, but
Yeah.
this is also this when he was a bad guy in the Squadron, or a Sinister Squadron, or Squadron Sinister, whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Highest known value is 9.0 for $800. So we're throwing you the character name out there. Is just get Nighthawk. Apparently this Cabal thinks this is the Nighthawk to get. So he appears in the first panel of this book, the first page, as a villain. He appears again
Yeah.
in the next issue. Is, I guess you can call it, his first full appearance, but it's whatever the market dictates. If you have 70, good for you. If you have 60, if you have 69, good for you. It's good to have both. Because if you remember, they Nighthawk kind of started as a bad guy, and then he eventually became a good guy, and he was part of the Defenders and some other teams, and then morphed on. But I always thought he was kind of cool, man. He had like these he had these trippy wings that had guns. Do you remember he had like 2 guns on his
Mm-hmm.
wings? I always thought that was pretty interesting. And obviously they're from I don't want to say a parallel Earth, but it's another another Earth. I guess is a safe way to say it. Is
Yeah.
where then it was the Sinister Squadron Sinister, and then the Squadron Supreme, which was like their hero equivalents. And so everybody's been expecting this one. This is so $800 for an IPO is not bad at all. But if they have Nighthawk on there, that means that they're expecting big things from Nighthawk.
Yeah, and I have a cannonball.
Oh boy, get your drinks ready, boys and girls. Even though we got limited bandwidth, bad microphone, and lights, I'm still able to drop this on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
So the reason why this made the list and why they're so hot on it is that they're planning on introducing Nighthawk in a upcoming season of Moon Knight.
Really?
Yeah, and so this book will be hot. I mean, once that gets out, that he'll be, perhaps in the second season of Moon Knight. Anything Moon Knight related is hot right now.
Oh yeah.
You throw Nighthawk in there, make him all dark and cool. There you go. You know what I mean?
I've read quite a few like Defenders books and Squadron Supreme books, and there was at one point I do believe the character Nighthawk became president of his alternate universe or timeline that he was in. For Nighthawk. Nighthawk has a very interesting history. If you ever look up the history of Nighthawk, which is like a CD list character, right? But look what Marvel did with Shang-Chi, who is not considered A or B list at all, but the movie is A fucking plus. By the way, please, no spoilers in the live chat. A little bit too soon for those who haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil anything. My review was not spoiler. I did a full spoiler review on the Comic-Con podcast, so look for that. And they're probably going to release it in a week from now. But if you haven't seen it, go see it. It is a great time, and make sure you stay to the very end. There's 2 end credit scenes. Very cool. But Avengers number 69, the first appearance of Nighthawk in a cameo? I don't know, man. It all depends. If you think 180 is a cameo, then 69 is also a cameo. If it's a first full appearance, it's a first full appearance. Basically, it's whatever the market dictates, and for the most part, the market has dictated that issue 69 is the one to have. Or maybe they're just a bunch of pervs and like the number 69. I don't know.
By the way, this wasn't on the list, but I recall Nighthawk and Moon Knight appeared in an issue of Defenders together, and I think it's the one where the Defenders had a casting call for members, and all these weird superheroes showed
That's
up.
the Avengers.
And then Moon Knight.
Yeah, it was an Avengers here. It was an Avengers.
Was it an
issue.
Avengers? Okay.
It was an Avengers issue, and they did a hey, who wants to join the Avengers? And you should have everybody show up. Like 3D Man showed up. Like all these characters showed up. It's such an awesome comic, and it is an Avengers comic. But Nighthawk was part of the Defenders. So was Moon Knight at one point. The Defenders Bronze Age is one of the greatest runs in the history of
awesome.
comics. If you like trippy, supernatural, and because they always dealt with some kind of weird. I mean, they had a guy named Demon Slayer on the team, for God's sakes, right?
Yeah,
and of course Doctor Strange. So there you go. So Avengers 69 on the list. My internet's back up, by the way, but I'm not going to trust it. So.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, David Anthony Kraft, Defenders writer, who was a friend of mine, died of COVID a few months ago.
Yeah, and the series went on pretty long too. I think there was like 125 in that.
Oh yeah, it was a long, weird book, right? That book got really weird.
The best non-team team, I think, is what they called it, because it was like you sending out a group text to your friends like, "Who wants to go to happy hour?" And then whoever would reply back, "Okay, you're a defender for the next couple of issues." There you go. Jim O says Defenders Volume 1, 48 through 50 is a Moon Knight, a Hawkeye.
There you go.
See,
there you go.
I love our audience because, boom, you guys that's a great spec. Because if new Nighthawk appears in Moon Knight, that would be a book to spec. I don't know if that's the first time they ever met, but if it is, go and look out for that. So
It's probably really cheap. Yeah, it's probably really cheap too. So
So
definitely
good job,
get them.
Jimmo. So
Awesome.
we're big on this channel. You know that about first meetings of characters. I think that's the
Yep.
next level of spec now that nobody can afford first appearances anymore, or secondary, third prints, or what have you. But you never know. Next up is a book that we've been talking about this because I think you gave us this scoop
Yeah.
quite a while ago when we were talking about the Old West. So we have Avengers number 80, the first appearance of the first, at least in the comics, to appear Red Wolf. Now, there was an earlier version, but he appeared later in the comics. Doesn't make sense, right? There was an Old West version. This one appeared in issue 80. There's about 3 or 4 different versions, but this Cabal selected this one particular, so that tells me that they may be using this particular character.
Yeah.
But I was also hearing they were going to use Jake Gomez as well, right?
Yeah, I know the interesting part about this, T-Vo, is that when I gave you the LTS before, there was no issue numbers. I mean, you have to look them up, right? Like,
yeah, this made my work a lot easier. Before I had to kind of connect the dots, like why would this be in a long-term spec list? But that's why this list is interesting, is because I don't want to divulge Mikey's sources, but let's just say Mikey's sources were people who worked with people who weren't basically comic book collectors, but they just heard names and they gave you the names and we connected the dots. This list comes from people who actually collect the comics and flip them, if you will, or sell them, or at least hoard them. Because the smart thing to do would be buy them up for cheap, wait for the news to drop, and then sell them. You know what I mean? If somebody says we're doing something wrong, it's been going on for decades. Stop it. We're not the first ones. We didn't invent the wheel or damage the wheel. The wheel has been damaged for a long time now. So.
Oh yeah, and they tell me they've been sharing my list since 2010. So
there you go. It's if you have the information, you use it. I mean, you tell your buddies and you go out and buy it, and that's just smart. If that's what we're here for. That's why we don't hide behind a Patreon. We don't do, you have to pay for information to get anything. We're giving it to you guys, so you guys go and get it. So all 167 of you can go on eBay simultaneously and get it. Sorry about that, but hey, man, just giving out there to everybody at the same time. So it's an evil playing field. Nobody gets any information earlier except for me. All right. So
yeah, you do.
Yeah. Well, I have to make the graphics for it. It's not like I'm I'm not gonna buy these up. Come on now. All right. Avengers number 80 from 1970. Yeah. Avengers number 80 from. I bought this book a long time ago when I started buying up all Old West characters. And should we tell people about that again, about the Old West and why they should buy?
Definitely, Red Wolf will debut pretty soon. He's gonna have his own show on Disney Plus, so there's a lot going on here, guys.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
And similar to like Sorcerer Supreme and other things in the Marvel Universe, Red Wolf is a title. It's a mantle, I guess you could say, that's been passed down from generation to generation. So there's at least 3-4 different versions of Red Wolf, and sometimes Marvel will just to reboot an issue, they'll make a new one. Just like the Jake Gomez, I think his name is Jake Gomez, is the new iteration.
Werewolf by Night, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, no, there's a new Red Wolf too.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah, I forgot. Somebody in the live chat told me what's the name of the new Red Wolf comic. The new Red Wolf comic that came out like a year or two ago. They introduced a new iteration of Red Wolf, comic version of Red Wolf. Well, this comic Cabal group is specking on this one in particular, so that tells me Avengers 80. This is the first Red Wolf that appeared in print.
So, there'll be a reference to him or in Hawkeye. So. Apparently.
Yeah, because they seem to be doubling down a lot on Native American characters. Because you got Echo, who is Native American, Red Wolf, and then that ties into the Old West, and where's my Shaman from Alpha Flight? Damn it, that's the first.
Oh God, man, he's classic. He's awesome.
Yeah, too bad he died, but his daughter carried on the mantle of the Shaman. So there you go. All right, so Avengers issue number 80 from 1970. Raw Dog last sold for mere $90. It's not too bad. But I will say, this is a hard nut to crack in a high grade, man. These kind of right on the cusp of Bronze and Silver Age Avengers, 15 centers. Well, technically, it's a Bronze Age book, but they're hard to get in the high grade. 9.0 is pretty darn good. All right, next up is a book that I have been specking on when I first heard that she was going to be in Runaways, and sure enough, now this Cabal group is saying you should get it. Spider-Woman #2 from 1978, the first appearance of Morgan Le Fay in Marvel Comics. She's coming to the... I totally misspelled that, by the way. She's coming to the Midnight Suns. When you say the Midnight Suns spelled that way, you mean the Midnight Suns property, correct?
Yeah.
Meaning not in the game, but actually either a Disney Plus show or a Hulu show or a movie, correct?
It's definitely a Disney Plus show. Because of the budget, it's just gonna be so expensive. Ghost Rider alone is gonna cost them quite a bit.
And this is the second time we talked about this book in the last 2 weeks, because there was another one. We had the other sorcerer that she's that's on the cover right here that she's fighting. But the first true appearance of Morgan Le Fay is Black Knight #1, which I believe is an Atlas Comics, so you can get that one. But this is a true Morgan Le Fay's first appearance in what you would consider, I guess, in the modern and 616 is what you could say. So much so it's not even on the my CGC label when I have it. But she is deep in the Arthurian lore. All everything that the magic of the King Arthur, and I mean, hell, it was Excalibur right there in the cover. But Morgan Le Fay is obviously, she's been around for a while. She showed up in Runaways, unfortunately, in the last season. So but as we always say, the Feige effect makes books jump, right?
Oh yeah, anytime.
You can have the Runaways and Cloak and Dagger on Hulu, won't do anything. But as soon as they come to Disney Plus or onto the big screen, they're gonna jump. So there you go. This is a really cheap book. I meant highest known value is a CGC 9.8 for $125.
Well, that's cheap. That's really cheap for that.
Well, it's one of those things where everybody gets Spider-Woman #1. Nobody cares about Spider-Woman #2. I mean, it's such an obscure appearance in it as well. Nobody really cares. But this group thinks this is the book to get. So I'm not the one giving you these issue numbers, by the way. This comes from this spec group, the secret cabal of people that work within the industry. So take that for what it will. But I've been a big fan of this book for a while now about Morgan Le Fay. So I think, especially with Marvel going supernatural, Doctor Strange, just get anybody in the Marvel universe that uses magic, sorcerer, anybody. That's a good bet. I mean, just look at that Just look at the Midnight Suns game trailer. That looked incredible.
Oh my god, that was awesome. That was freaking awesome. I think I have 2 copies of that, I think.
Yeah.
I know I have more than one.
All right, next up, this one is very interesting. This is Marvel Team Up issue number 15 from 1973. This is the first appearance of the original Orb, a.k.a. Drake Shannon. The second version of the Orb is the dude with he literally is an eyeball for a head. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why they actually said Marvel Team Up 15 in their notes. So what are you hearing about the Orb?
Well, he will be one of Ghost Rider's first villains on his show, which makes this a crucial book.
Yes.
And I love the fact they give you the title and the issue number so you know which Orb it is, right?
Yeah, because if you were to search the Orb, there's 3 different versions. But
yeah, exactly.
There is also another supposed, they did their research, because if you look, some places say the Orb's first appearance is a Ghost Rider book, but his true first appearance is actually in Marvel Team Up issue number 15. There's Wikipedia, and then there's the Marvel fandom website. Some of them have different versions of where's the first appearance. And one of them was really in depth, where they go, he first appeared in Marvel Team Up issue 15, and then later appeared in Ghost Rider, where he takes on the Orb. The Orb takes on Ghost Rider 101. So there you go. This is a cheap book. Raw for $50. Wow,
that's cheap. That's
yeah,
really
but $50
cheap.
for a Marvel Team 15, man, must have been a high grade, or somebody from the Cabal bought it. But yeah. I mean, all those Marvel Team Up books I think are just way underpriced for the amount of times first time characters have met, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next one here, which I'm going to be eating serious crow on since I've been poo-pooing this, and I'm going to let you talk about it. I'm going to let you talk about the issue number and who it is and what it is, because Yes, I admit defeat to you. I admit defeat to that guy.
Yeah, Donny Cates. You know, I should have used my Donny Cates avatar. You want to bring out the finger?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. Shout out to Donny Cates for making the list for Knull.
Yeah, Knull is coming to live action. Actually, I will have some more detailed information on this soon. I'm just waiting for it to arrive. I was pretty shocked by this, honestly. I know a lot of you have speculated on this because of how popular he is.
Yep.
Knull is coming.
I was shocked too.
It's
Nobody more
definite
so than
now.
I.
It's definite.
When people
So,
said is no coming, I always told them nope, he's not coming because it's a
yeah,
Sony property, right?
yeah.
But I guess congratulations, Donny Cates, whatever. But anyway, so there's a lot of there are like 12, 14 variants for issue number 3, which includes second and third printings. Obviously, everybody knows the regular prints of white cover with the giant venom mouth. I picked this one. They in their notes they just said Venom issue number 3. I picked the third print because I do believe this is the first time Venom appears, or excuse me, Knull appears on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this may be one of the ones to get. A 9.8 sold for $900, which is so good. Hold on. You know what, man? I ain't gonna give you damn apologies. I'll give you congratulations. Once you apologize for the Knull spec from the Hellstrom video, then you go take my apology. But good job by the Principal Defects. They've been specking Knull for the longest time. But, but there's been as long as we don't see Virex or Codex or anything, and just Knull. Well, I can't say what it is, but there is a tie. A loose tie to, let's just say, symbiote race in Shang-Chi. I'll just say that. Okay, I'll just because Mike hasn't seen it yet. So
Yeah.
the third act, there was some villainous creatures that are loosely tied to something along the realm, his kind of realm. We'll just leave it at that. So, Venom issue number 3, and if you're gonna get it. I think the rarest or most valuable one to get is the third print because it actually features Knull on the cover. And there's a tons of other ones. Obviously first printings are always good to get, but this I looked up the values, and for some reason the third print seems to be the one that collectors have kind of gravitated to. So as we always say, what the market dictates. Shout out to Principal BDFX for championing this book for the longest time. Even though they had Donny Cates whatever. It'll be interesting though. Because technically Sony owns the rights to Knull cinematically, correct?
Yeah.
Because it appears in Venom, and Venom is a Sony property, so it'd be interesting to see. Although there's ties to, I think the Butcher or Maddie, one of them could say, or somebody in the live chat can tell me about the I think it's the Necro Sword that's tied to Knull, that's also tied to Thor. I do believe, which, maybe it gives that, or who knows, maybe Disney and Sony are working out a deal because they know how popular Knull was as a big baddie, but you can't put Knull in a Venom movie with just Venom by himself, right? Knull is big. You gotta bring in, like, that's an Avengers level threat, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, this is a big bad.
All right, so begrudgingly, Venom issue number 3, the first appearance of Knull.
Yeah, I never thought I would see him on here. I was just shocked. I was like, oh my god, what do I tell T-Vo now?
Yeah, well, that's what the thing I was just talking about, Jay Saints, is Knull ties to Gore because there was a panel where there was like 2 of them fighting, and there was a Necro Sword. I'm loosely remembering this right now. It has something to do with the Necro Sword or something. There was one panel where they showed like 2 of them fighting, and they thought that was like one of the first symbiotes or something along those lines. So I'm pretty sure somebody in the live chat can say. There you go. Shout out to the Butcher. Tim and Mikey just made my night. Gore and Knull are tied to the Necro Sword, so they could see how they can make that possible with Thor. We know that Gore is going to be in Thor Ragnarok, so Yeah, this is the Marvel. Believe it or not, could be running out of big villains soon. I mean, Thanos, Kang. I mean, outside of that, who you got?
Well, they
Galactus.
got Doctor Doom.
Well, Doctor Doom obviously is, but
And,
that's four. I mean, you need some more big baddies.
yeah.
The High Evolutionary isn't really a big baddie per se, as opposed to just kind of an experiment.
Mephisto.
But yeah, Gore and Knull do have connections to the Necrosword. I do believe. The God of Thunder. It's a great run. So, all right. So there you go. Shout out to everybody who's been specking on Knull, and I sold all of my Knull Vision issue. I sold all of my Knull first prints. Damn it. I had some gorgeous variants too, and I sold them all at the height of it. Never thought I'd come back. I thought it would come back, but maybe in a Venom movie, not in the MCU proper. So it's cool that if they do that happen, I think fanboys will lose their freaking minds because nobody in the general movie going audience would know who the fuck Knull was, right? They're probably saying, who's this Knull guy? But for people who have been reading that or been hoping for it, hey man, there you go.
I have to wonder, T-Vo, if this is for Secret Wars, because you have the Planet of the Symbiotes in there. I just gotta wonder if this is tied in with that somehow. I'll find out.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna have to tell the origin of the symbiote, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It just shows up out of nowhere. They have to show where it came from, and since they gave this deep mythology for Knull, since even before Cates was writing it, they started really kind of this the actual symbiote that landed on Earth was part of a giant hive, and when a symbiote leaves the main hive, they kind of go crazy, and that's why. But they originally said they're peaceful people, but if they leave their hive, they kind of go crazy and lose their mind and become homicidal. But then they change that again and again and again because every writer that takes over a Venom story arc kind of takes their own plots and twists on it. So it'll be interesting to see what the next writer does on it. But they've left it in a high bar. I mean, who would have thought Venom would be a character that was a giant crossover across multiple titles, right? Do you remember how many Venomized covers there were in the last 2 years, and then Carnageized covers? They were really milked that cow for crazy. All right, this book is not a surprise for a lot of people because it's what I call part of a trilogy of books. It's the cheapest of the trilogy of books, but why they picked it, and kudos to somebody in the live chat who mentioned his name earlier. Fantastic Four issue number 50 from 1966 is the first appearance of Wyatt Wingfoot, who is he used to be Johnny Storm's best buddy. At one point, he became like a sheriff of. Last time I read, he was it was in a Champions book, and Wyatt Wingfoot was like the sheriff of a reservation. And he's been in and out of the comics for a long time. What are you hearing about Wyatt Wingfoot?
Well, yeah, he's also Native American, so it goes into a lot of the Native American characters that they're doing. Before I continue on with it, I got a cannonball, T-Vo, before I forget.
Oh boy. All right. Take him if you got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Well, for the past 2 years, T-Vo and I have been talking about this without me actually scooping it. That's the funny part. I actually never scooped this. But T-Vo and I, when I'm on the air, we always talk about this. Even when I wasn't on the air, you would bring this subject. I was talking about it with you. BecauseMag.com, if you go there now, we have 2 articles on Agents of Atlas. And I've been holding on to this for the longest time. I wanted to drop it when it was okay for me to drop, and it was perfect timing with Shang-Chi being out. Agents of Atlas are now in active development for Marvel Studios. I mentioned that Wave, Kate for Wave, it's that campaign I've been doing since 2019. These characters are finally going to show up. And in the article, I mentioned that in Shang-Chi 2, what they're looking at is having Arrow appear first of the of the members. So that, not including Jimmy Woo, obviously, who's going to
Yeah.
recruit them.
And Arrow, I believe, is South Korean. I want to say
Chinese. He's
Chinese.
Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the cannonball, because I didn't have this information when I wrote the article. Um, so we published a list of the members in the comics, but all we knew that were coming were Arrow and Wave. Also, the interesting part is I don't know if Shang-Chi is a member of a team. He's joining the Avengers. Um, so he it's going to spin off from his films, but I'm not sure if he's on the team.
Yeah. You mean in the movies? Because in the comics, he's
Yeah,
definitely part of. He's almost the mentor of the team as well.
yeah,
Because
he'll probably have an
obviously,
advisory role, but yeah,
yeah,
he's just too big right now. He's too big for just that. But they're gonna spin off Agents of Atlas from that franchise, though. But what I'm hearing is that a new member of a team that they're going to introduce, and I'm not sure if they're going to introduce his character in Shang-Chi 2, but Arrow is what they're talking about. But this character will be among the other members added, and that is White Fox. White Fox is coming to the
ah,
MCU.
Fox.
So, didn't they all appear in the same book?
Hold on.
Debut in the same book? Uh-huh.
I do believe it was Agents of Atlas, the Agents of Atlas book from War of the Realms. Let me see.
Yeah, War of the Realms,
Arrow.
right? Because
Yeah.
Wave debuted there.
Let's see. Yeah, Arrow. Yeah, Arrow is White Fox. Excuse me, is Korean. And yeah, and they
Okay.
appear throughout. So there's an interesting couple of characters that don't appear. That appeared in. There was some production they were doing or cross promotion they were doing with a video game company where I think Swordmaster
Mm-hmm.
first appeared in there you go, Contest of the Champions.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay, different book then. Wow. Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
there you go. So there was a contest of the champions based on the video game, not
Oh,
they're like
okay.
the mobile game. So not like the OG
Yeah.
contest of champion with like the grandmaster and the collector. So there you go. What about Silk? Well, Silk belongs to Sony, and they're doing their own
Yeah.
thing. So I don't think she if she appears in Maze of Atlas, they would have to make a new deal. But so far, from what we've heard, Silk is coming to Amazon Prime by herself. There you go. I'm sorry. Thank you, JLS Comics. Luna Slow is from Future Flight, which is also a mobile game. There's a lot of characters that were introduced. That's why I'm saying look for the first time the Hunter appears in comics. It's going to be huge. She's the character that appeared in the Midnight Suns video game trailer. The one they rise from the
Yeah.
coffin that
Yeah,
ends
yeah.
up being Lilith's daughter. Somebody says my mic is too low. Sorry. I'm not on my... Here, let me turn it up. Hopefully that sounds better now. I turned it up higher.
Oh,
Not...
so someone has been buying White Fox comics lately. I wouldn't be
Ah,
surprised if this was on the list before the one I got yours, T-Vo.
yeah. There you go. So you got White Fox. I mean, there's no doubt they're going to be making a Shang-Chi sequel. I mean, it's doing huge box office numbers. They got a really good cinema score, which is a better accurate grading. Because some people, there's certain sites are now saying that Shang-Chi is being positively review bombed, which I've never heard before. Because normally you hear of negative review bombing, but now they're saying it's positive review bombing. So there you go. Oh, my volume is better now. I turned it up. I'm using this stupid headset.
It's like
Uh,
verified. They're verified. They go through
yeah,
Fandango.
yeah. Well, Mood Swing. Those white foxes are built into Chinese lore without giving away. It's a fox. It's a nine-tailed fox, which is big in the Chinese mythos. So I don't want to give too much away. But it had also appeared in the trailer. But if you Google it, the nine-tailed fox is typically a kind of demon type creature or mythological creature. But yeah, there is a nine-tailed fox in the Shang-Chi film. You saw it in the trailer, so I'm not giving away any spoilers. All right. Next up is a very interesting book indeed, because I think people were expecting this a while ago, and then they stopped, and they were expecting it for different reasons. So we have 2001 Space Odyssey, number 8, the first appearance a Machine Man, and this is the first time we actually see it in quotations that they said hot IP. What are you hearing about Machine Man?
He's going to be appearing quite a bit. That's what they mean by that. It'll be appearing on certain theatrical movies and also Disney Plus shows. I don't know which ones yet. Foggy's got stuff planned out from 10 years from now, so um, we're going to see quite a bit of Machine Man for sure.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, Machine Man was Hercules' sidekick for a bit, right?
No,
Is
that was
Machine-
the recorder.
that's a recorder. So recorder is different than Machine Man. I thought they were
Yeah.
the same. Oh, okay.
Unless they changed it.
Yeah, because I know that also Machine Man has appeared in Marvel Zombies too, because obviously he couldn't
Oh,
be
yeah,
turned
that's
into a
right.
zombie, so he was one of the ones that fought. So he has quite interesting. What's interesting? This is actually off of the. This is when Marvel got the rights to do a 2001: Space Odyssey based on the Kubrick film, right? But then this is Kirby saying, "I want to create my own character for it," and then he eventually he went up and up into different things. So he's kind of been around. So that makes. Here's the thing. Here's where my guess is. So Machine Man was built or created by something called the Monolith, which guess what the Eternal ship is called? The Monolith.
Mm.
So I don't know. Maybe he just is.
You gotta wonder if he would fit right in, wouldn't he? I mean, look at him.
He's just the one that's been built. He's like been sitting on that ship for thousands of years because he's not he's just a robot that they built to take care of it. But I mean, he comes from the Monolith. I'm not saying it's the same Monolith, but maybe it is. But either way, I mean, it's a good spec book to have. Relatively cheap, $52 for a raw comic.
Dude, I have never ever seen this book in the wild ever at any convention. Really? Nope, not once. In like 10 years, I've never seen. I've always looked for this book. I've never seen it.
My LCS has it all the time.
I see every issue 2001 except for this one.
Yeah, because they always pick them out. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a cool Machine Man miniseries that came out in the 80s when Marvel was doing all the miniseries like Hercules, Machine Man, Jack of Hearts.
Barry Smith? I think Barry Smith drew that too.
Yeah, very cool.
Really
But this is Jack Kirby at the height of his powers. If you just look at the cover right there. All right, last one on the list, boys and girls, and this is interesting that they picked this version of the character because when I saw the name, I go, "Oh, I have that one." I go, "Oh, this is a different version." We have Deathlok, issue number 1. From July 1990, this is the prestige format of Deathlok. It was a 4-issue miniseries. This is the Michael Collins version of Deathlok. Why do you think they're going with this version?
Oh, I already know. Cannonball.
Oh, shit. We got another cannonball. I hope you guys are drinking at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Yeah, so you may have seen a different version of Deathlok on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. years ago, which I scooped, by the way. That was my scoop. I'm scooping Deathlok again, but this version of Deathlok. They're developing a Disney Plus series for him. It may take a couple of years from now, so you have lots of time to get this before this explodes. Like all these LTS books, people wait for a trailer, and by that time it's so expensive already. I don't know. This is probably $1 book, right, T-Vo? I'm not. How much is this?
eBay, rarely do they ever sell this by itself. People are just like, nobody wants this by itself. So you can find these on eBay right now, the whole 4-issue miniseries for anywhere from $10 to $30. It comes out the $5-6 book. And I would also say, don't buy a slabbed copy for any really high amount because there's a good chance that you can get a 9.8 because it's prestige format, meaning it's a thick cover, and so they're kind of if you think about the Killing Joke, right? That prestige format, really a hard stock cover. As soon as you open it, it drops a grade. You know what I mean? So if you could find one unread or has been read lightly, but right now on eBay, there's quite a few, and they're selling them as a whole. They're like $20 for an entire series, so it's like $5 a pop. So I also saw one on Shortbox right now. If somebody's interested, it's a 0.8 for $200. There's a 9.6 on eBay now, signed by the actor who played Deathlok in the Agents of Shield series, which is interesting enough. They had him sign a book that it wasn't, because I don't think his character ever appeared in the comics. His version of it that appeared on Agents of Shield. But too bad Agents of Shield didn't have a big enough budget to do. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, you're right. Joe
They couldn't pull it off.
kills the cover. Yeah, because Deathlok could really be a cool character all by himself. His origins, how he got into what he was, and he's kind of the anti-hero, but very cool. People think, oh, it's just another No, he's not cyborg. He's more like a mercenary. You could say. I mean, as opposed to cyborg. You know what I mean? When people say that, but there you go.
Yeah, and this is part of Marvel Studios' Disney Plus direction to go more sci-fi. We're gonna think now we have the horror part opening up. They're gonna get more of a sci-fi future shows coming up on Disney Plus. This is Deathlok, a huge part of that. They got a cannonball again.
All right, so hey, that's it for the last of the long-term spec. We got another cannonball. If you have a couple of questions, you can start asking them now. But before that, let me drop this.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
So, one of my insiders, actually the person who gave me this list is watching, and he texted me, he was listening to you, T-Vo. Shang-Chi 2 and 3 have been greenlit.
All right.
Might not be announced for a while, because, Marvel, when they announce stuff, it's usually at an event. But yeah, they've been greenlit. So don't be surprised to see more Shang-Chi characters pop up on these lists in the next couple of weeks, because these guys will know which ones are going to be used.
Yeah, and without giving away much of the movie, because we're not talking spoilers in this movie, there's a lot of story left to tell about, origins and the 10 rings and all kinds of cool stuff. Let me just tell you, Mikey, the third act, just gets you bonkers. It was.
Yeah, I heard it's insane.
The third act is insane. A little CGI heavy for me, but other people don't have too many problems with it. But oh my god, the third act you're just sitting there, go, man, there's a lot of good martial arts action. Then it goes straight wuxia in the third act. It turns into a fantasy martial arts film in the third act. Is all I will say.
How about that box office, huh? They said he would be. They said they would flop. All this bogus shit news out there,
Yeah, people mask up, or people getting vaccinated, or just don't care, and they're just going to see it. I mean, it's typically Labor Day is not a big day for box office, right? It's the end of summer. This is when they kind of wait to release. The end of the box office really begins, like before pre-COVID it starts in May. That's when the box office starts. May, June. That's when the summer months, kids are out of school, they have their butts in the seats. So obviously, this is probably the biggest release since the shutdown. By Marvel. I mean, Marvel just released this in Black Widow. So but seeing the Eternals trailer on the big screen, that looked awesome. That looks awesome.
Well, I got 85 million domestically Monday, then over 100 million global. I mean, that's crazy in this pandemic time to get that kind of box office.
And so far, no China release. So
that's weird. That's still weird to me. But Free Guy is out there right now, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So let's answer quick questions. Is Angela coming into the MCU?
Yes.
There you go. I like that. Any news on Nova?
Still in development.
Still in development. All right.
But,
thank you for TLC Comics One for the $10 super chat. Happy Sunday. Appreciate all the great info. Thank you for the $10 super chat, and happy Labor Day. I think that's tomorrow. We could answer a couple of more questions. Let me see if any other questions here. Will we see any more Harley Keener? I believe Harley Keener is that new character. I'm trying to remember who the hell that is.
That's the actor at the end of Endgame that was at the funeral. People were asking who that was.
Oh, the tall kid
Yeah.
that was in Iron Man 2. No, Iron Man
Yeah,
3. Yeah.
three. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is the never-ending question. When will the Thunderbolts show up?
Um, they're gonna show up on Disney Plus first. So most likely it'll be Falcon and the Soldier season 2.
All right, we're doing rapid questions here, Mikey. Will Magus be the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is the evil persona
Yeah.
of Warlock?
I tell you, man, James Gunn is the hardest person to scoop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he runs a really, really tight ship, and no one leaks.
Yeah.
No one leaks, so I have no idea.
All right. Do we have any news on a Black Knight spinoff? Not Black Knight Mikey Sutton, but I think we're talking about the character there.
Yeah. Depending how well Eternals does, they're looking at a Disney Plus show for him. But if he explodes, and that all the insiders I've talked to love the Eternals movie. They're going crazy over it, and they feel that they'll do even better than Shang-Chi. And
Yeah.
that's saying quite a bit. You've seen what's happened now with Shang-Chi. So.
Yeah.
But it depends on how well it does. But Black Knight, he just might get his own theatrical. It's going back and forth. So they're gonna see how well he does.
Let's see here. Here's a question from our friend Peter Porker. Any plans of Natalie Portman and Jane Foster staying on in store beyond this movie?
No,
One and done.
when I'm done.
All
So if you
right.
guys are
Yeah.
specking on that, and, after that film comes out and it's, you realize it's done, I think it's gonna fall off probably. So
Yeah.
sell when
Yeah.
the trailer hits. I mean, whatever you feel is best. But
Yeah. Will we see Blue Marvel in the movies?
yes,
Was it Blue in the movies or on Disney Plus? Do you think?
no,
it'll
in the
show
in the
first?
movies at first. Yeah, it'll be in the movies.
All right.
I actually
I think
know
we-
which one is a cannonball. I know we got the cannonball.
Should we cannonball it?
Yeah, might as well.
Let's cannonball it. Let's cannonball Blue Marvel.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
So I'm hearing Blue Marvel is in the Marvels, the Captain Marvel sequel.
Oh my God! It's been underneath our noses this entire time.
Yeah, so you're expecting Blue Marvel, you better get that book.
Oh, it's already.
he-
I think this big Cabal is already. It's
yeah, they've been buying that up already.
Let's see, there was another one here. That I think
He
you've
was
answered
being
on
planned.
your,
He was being planned for the Sword Show, so he's gonna be on there too. But the Marvels, yeah, that's I keep hearing it over and over again. He's on there.
Somebody asked. I think you answered this on a Geekosity mag post. Will Moon Knight be getting his classic suit on the show costume?
Yeah, it'll be a classic suit. It won't be the Warren Ellis suit. It'll be,
Thank
but
God,
it'll
I
be
can't-
more, maybe more Egyptian-like though. I mean, it's gonna be a weird-looking suit, kind of like what you saw in those photos. But it won't be the Warren Ellis thing. They're not gonna no.
Here's
Not gonna
another
do
one.
that.
I think we answered this before. Oh, wrong one, but we'll get to that one too. Will Spider-Man No Way Home introduce Miles Morales live action?
They might. I mean, but not a Spider-Man though. I scooped before that Sony wanted to not wait on Miles Morales while Kevin Feige wanted to wait. So we'll see how this goes, but you're going to see him pretty soon. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
See, the original plan was
even in the-
T-Vo was, yeah. What was when was to have him become Spider-Man after Holland lead, and Holland's going to lead in the 6 movies, his last one, right?
Yeah.
And then he would take over, but Sony's like, they need money. They need money. There's no other way around it. And so
Miles
why
will
are
do
we? Why
huge
are we?
money, yeah.
Oh yeah, why are we putting this guy on the shelf? So, it looks like they're gonna have a separate Spider-Man franchise with him. I scooped before, it's called Ultimate Spider-Man, it looks like they're going to stick with it.
You mean Spider-Man, right? Where the Ultimate Spider-Man storyline, where Spider-Man dies and Peter Parker dies, and then he takes over his.
Well, here's how they're going to do this. I'm told is that they're going to kill off Tobey Maguire. This is a spoiler, probably, right? In Multiverse of Madness, and that way Sam Raimi will be the one to close the book on his version of the character, because he's directing Multiverse of Madness, and that's where Miles gets inspired to become Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Peter Parker does die to inspire him to become Spider-Man.
And that would be an emotional story too, and I think
Yeah.
it'd be great. I mean, just like in the comic,
Yeah.
the Ultimate Fallout. Hey, you know what? Mikey doesn't just do Marvel; he does DC too. Here's a DC question for you: Any John Constantine news? John Constantine 2 or Dark Justice League or Justice League Dark Sandman?
He is going to be in Justice League Dark, but he's about as far off from Matt Ryan as it gets. In fact, Matt Ryan, I don't know if Matt Ryan wasn't informed or he told him not to say anything. J.J. Abrams did not want any other iteration of the character being out there besides his. And that's why Matt Ryan no longer John Constantine. Now, I don't know if the actor was told that, but J.J. put his foot down. Nope.
He's perfectly cast for that. It's like Benedict Cumberbatch being Doctor Strange is Matt. Is that his name? Matt? Is the actor named Matt Ryan that plays
Matt Ryan, yeah.
CW, yeah.
Yeah, the John Constantine that JJ wants to do will be an actor of color. He will not look at all like John Constantine. In fact, he'd be even more removed than Keanu Reeves was.
I think CT Cook is just fucking with me. Save Finn Jones hashtag. There is no saving Finn Jones.
There's no hope.
After Shang-Chi, you're going to go back and look at Iron Fist and think like, what the fuck did I just watch? That was not martial arts. There's an interesting one. Kind of first Star Wars question. Will we see Cad Bane in live action?
Oh my god, Matt Jorbo asked me this last week. Some website put a scoop on Cad Bane out there, and I admit, guys, I watched every episode of Rebels, but Clone Wars, I haven't seen. I only saw a few episodes, so Jarbo's like, you haven't seen that Die Hard episode of Clone Wars with Cad Bane? Like, goes, dude, stop whatever you're doing and watch that first. So. The other night I saw it, I was fucking blown away. Cad Bane is fucking awesome.
He fits perfectly in the Mandalorian world because he's
totally.
a Western character. When just the way he looks, he's got that kind of cool thing. I would love to see him in live action on the Mandalorian.
Oh my god, it'd be huge! You know how huge that would be.
Yeah.
I did reach out. I haven't heard anything. Yet. You know what? If I get Cad Bane, I'll drop it on the show.
Yeah. Sorry guys, no Dakota North news, but it's in persistent wait. I'll ask the obligatory Dakota North question anyway. What are you hearing about Dakota North?
Well, it got away from Daredevil. As they continue to develop the series, there'll be a casting call for Dakota. She's coming.
Yeah.
She's coming.
She was a one-time love interest of Matt Murdock, I do believe, but who wasn't in the comics? Matt, for a blind dude, he gets all kinds of tail, man.
Yeah, I know, seriously, man.
Yeah.
The irony is that he can't see them, though. That's the irony of it all, right?
They can see him, though, and that's all that matters, right?
Right.
Yeah. This is very interesting.
Hey, I got a question for you, T-Vo. Was there ever a what if? What if Matt Murdock wasn't blind?
I think so.
I think it's so obvious, right? Like, well, what if he regained his eyesight?
No, I think there was. I could have swore there was a story where he got his eyesight, but then he lost his powers, his extra senses.
Oh wow!
So
that's so what if, man. That's so what if, right? Give it a depressing twist on there.
Here's an interesting question. Shout out to Wikifodder has been paying attention to our long-term spec when we dropped Hag and Troll being talked about for Ghost Rider.
I haven't heard anything recently. Once the show gets more in development, I'll get more information about upcoming villains for the show. I know we had one before that was still on Hulu. So it's just changed a lot since then. Feige is really digging deep, and some of the the orb, the orb definitely is coming.
Here's one. Any Marvel cosmic character news? Eternity, the Living Tribunal, Kronos.
Living Tribunal is coming to the MCU. Don't know about the other two.
Yeah.
Eternity, be perfect. Imagine how cool that would look, T-Vo and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's almost too big for the big screen. Like
Yeah.
I think it would be like Eternity has been in multiple issues of What If though.
That's true.
The What If story of, and also he was in the new Ultimates version, the one that blew Marvel, and basically Eternity was held. They found him and he was bound. It was a very interesting story. They actually showed Eternity tied up. It was kind of crazy. Here's an interesting question.
And this is not a scoop or anything, but Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Okay, what if, so to speak? That film opens up with Uatu, because how perfect would that be if he's like, there are infinite possibilities in the multiverse, and you see Jeffrey Wright with CGI watching.
Awesome.
The audience would go freaking nuts. Can you imagine that?
Oh my god!
And Sam Raimi,
that's the way you introduce him, yeah.
Yeah, Raimi is a huge Bronze Age Marvel fan. How could he'll be tempted to put that in there.
Yeah. Let's just do a couple more before Mikey has to leave here. I think we skipped this a long time ago. Who will be Galactus' herald after Silver Surfer leaves him? Will it be Johnny Storm's girlfriend, which is Frankie Ray version
Frankie
of
Ray.
Nova?
It's Frankie Ray, yeah. Frankie Ray.
That's part of a great storyline. I mean, it's kind of tragic because Johnny Storm finally falls in love, and Frankie Ray, is kind of enamored with this whole idea of how Silver Surfer gave himself up to become the Herald of Galactus. And I can remember the panel. It was done by John Byrne, written and drawn by John Byrne.
Yeah.
And Frankie Ray offers herself up, and she goes, I don't need to be imbued with the cosmic power. And she flames on, and then Galactus goes, no, you don't. I'm going to give you some more. Then poof, and then she flies. She falls in love with this cosmic power, the power cosmic she has. She flies in the upper atmosphere. Johnny Storm follows her, but eventually runs out of oxygen because she's a cosmic being now. But she forgets about him. She's like, because she's so enamored by the power cosmic, and Johnny Storm just flames out and eventually falls back down to Earth. And the story is told that he's heartbroken that, and believe it or not, Frankie Ray has already appeared in the Fox version of the film. Remember, Frankie Ray? Yeah. She was a military. She was like in Fantastic Four 2, I believe. She showed up in the military. It's just sad how Fox teased us with so many great things and then never did so much. But there we go, man. Fantastic Four 244. That all 244, 245, 244, great story. John Byrne at the height of his powers. And that's it, man. We dropped a lot on you guys, man. Even bad audio, bad video, no network. I still don't have my spotty network cable connection.
One last
question. Yeah. One last question, because it was very interesting that the Marvel UK tweeted out "Happy Birthday" to Keanu Reeves. Is there something to that, or nothing? Is it nothing?
Yeah, there is, but I can't say a word. There is. I just say that there is, but I've been told to shut my mouth for once, and kind of sensitive discussions there, but there is. And guys, it's big, and T-Vo will lose his fucking mind if this goes through. That's all I will say.
I hate it when you do that. I can only guess what it is, but here's the thing. Kevin Feige has even said that they have come to Keanu Reeves with every role. And Keanu Reeves has been waiting for the perfect role. So we'll just leave it at that. So what he will do. Also,
a piece of advice for all you collectors out there. I'm a collector myself. I've been collecting since '78. Kevin Feige is a huge fan of John Byrne's Fantastic Four. Okay, just keep that in mind. He's a huge fan.
Reed Richards would be perfect.
He is. Yeah. So if you guys want to spec on things in advance, look at that run and see what you can find before I even drop them here, because he loves that run, guys. He loves it. Yeah. That and the John Byrne X-Men run, also T-Vo, he loves the Jim Lee run of X-Men. So there you go.
More
Yeah.
so than the John Byrne run and the
John Byrne run is closer to his heart, but I think when I heard that he read the Jim Lee stuff first, it's an age thing, right? Because Kevin Feige's younger than us.
Well, Jim Lee is what caused Chris Claremont to leave the X-Men. If
I know.
If you watched the documentary, it was Jim Lee who caused it, and so Jim Lee was doing the art, and they got a different writer after. You know, I mean, 2, 3, I don't know how many issues, 200 and something issues that Chris Claremont did, and X-Men was his baby. So yeah, it's funny. Keanu as Omega Red. There you go. Boom! You got us.
No, it's bigger than that. But.
Oh, there you go. We won't give you guys no more. Mikey can't get in trouble. He's going to lose his sources. All right, so all right, it's 6:30. Still 9 degrees out from my time. Thank you for joining us, Mikey.
Thank you guys. Thank you, T-Vo.
Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, GalaxyMag.com. I got a full load of Shang-Chi articles on there about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we got a big one tomorrow about Sony and Spider-Man. You're gonna want to read that. Yeah, definitely. We'll want to read that.
All right.
I haven't written it yet. I'm writing it tonight.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, leave it after this video post, and we'll pick some questions out. We didn't do really letters of long box this week. We kind of did.
Yeah, we will next week though. Yeah, letters comes back next week, and also we'll have a new Insider LTS next week too. So.
All right, but these
you're gonna empty your wallets for these shows.
There you go. We are here to empty your wallets. It's not money sitting there. It's not doing anything, you know. But hey, it's free. We're not charging you anything for it.
Exactly.
Right? We're not asking for any money. All right, for Mikey Sutton. This is T-Vo. Keep digging in them long boxes, and we'll see you Tuesday for the cover price top 10. Until next time, I already said it. Keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out, guys.
Now let's do this. Rewind, select and come again. Pull up that from the top to the very last. Jump.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? In this you shall know that the Lord is update. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do it. We're here. We're back. Word up. Let's do my job. You can't get fresher than this.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 5 greatest heroes. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
When it comes, I won't even notice. Oh, how so? I'll be too busy looking good.
You can't understand.